Friends, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you happen to be catching this. It is a joy to be able to share with you some of my thoughts on how we as God's people are to ideally experience community. This beautiful concept of community that we have, this fellowship that we have each been crafted to be a part of, has been on my heart a lot recently. For myself, having moved back to the Bay Area, started a new job, started a new school program, how am I to ideally experience community? I've been thinking about this for the youth, about the kind of community they are experiencing here with us, and the kinds of communities they experience outside the walls of the church. How are they ideally experiencing community there? And for the world, about the communities both near and far that experience obstacles and challenges daily from being able to ideally experience community. So how are we as God's people to ideally experience community? One thing I've learned from the LOPC community in my short few months here, just by witnessing it, are the ways in which people here show up for one another. Countless people wanting to spend their time serving, caring for others, listening to one another. People want to show up. And this showing up is no small thing. Whether one shows up as a friendly face or shows up for someone by doing all they can to ensure someone feels loved, this showing up extends our compassion and care to another in such a way that they can experience it, receive it, and have impact on their lives. And I'm one to believe that we do not do this for nothing. Rather, I believe that our showing up, our consideration and care for others is the fulfilling alignment of our community and Christ's community. That our time sitting with each other, volunteering, serving, cooking meals, empathizing, listening, is time spent living into the kind of community that Christ prepares for us. And I think Jesus invites us to show up with our consideration and care for those beyond our immediate community as well. Because Jesus himself was the stone that the builder refused and became the cornerstone and foundation for the community of God's people. The stone that had been thrown away, rejected from being a part of the building, seemingly unfit for construction, that is the stone that is the foundation for our community. But it's also those cornerstones, these foundational pieces that are more challenging for us to find because they have been cast aside, rejected, and seen unfit. So it does make me think that when we ask ourselves, how do we ideally experience community, we are humbly acknowledging that we cannot know and we may not know the depths of God's community, that some foundational stones, some corner pieces have been left unturned. So how might we as a community of God's people seek out those who have been cast aside, rejected, seen unfit, and show up for those communities with our consideration and care as we do for one another? To try and fully understand and experience both the depth and breadth of God's community that we have been invited into, and one that has been wonderfully made for each and every one of us. Have a great rest of your day, friends. Blessings.